Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one we have Pioshik on his legendary Kindred with an S+ weird build that he is using basically all the time in Hilo with a lethal tempo rune set, which, you know, that's not new. We know the lethal tempo rune set. I'll show the runes early for you, but he is going into Kraken as one should. But the rest of the build is more bruisery, more resistance based, a lot of attack speed, but also a lot of AoE splash. And of course we're against a Yuumi, Karthus, Zeri. Which means, if we win this game, we are beasts. Obviously, we do have a Seraphine and an Aphelios, but there was another game I could have used. However, he had a Seraphine plus a Lulu. And I feel like when you win in 20 minutes on Kindred, yes, you have to be good. But if you have a Seraphine and a Lulu, that's just a little bit of a cheat code, I think. So, for Zada GG Guides, Kindred is done. It will be released on Friday, 6 PM my time, GMT +2 or CET. That will be midday Eastern for you NA folk. And hopefully this build will definitely be in it. Not hopefully, it is literally in it. And that will have all the Virkayu ganking tips and everything you need to make sure Kindred works. And, you know, as an accessory to this video. So please click that link below and then keep track of that for Friday afternoon. I will ping my Discord. We are against a Karthus. Karthus will have Exhaust, Dark Harvest, straight up stuff. Vega V2 is twisting and turning, not seeing the first strike. It is what it is. And now we're going to go from blue into Gromp. Remember, Kindred is a jungler of action, so we're looking at our lanes, we're paying attention to where we might be able to snipe something, and obviously we are going to have to do something about the Karthus. We are not going to full clear. We're not going to do Raptors and Krugs and look to 5 camp match their tempo. We're going to try and look to make sure we can invade, deny, and snowball while the Karthus is, of course, using his obscenely talented kit to ult from the other side of the map. Now, at this particular point, I have seen Kyo just do a blue quadrant into this sort of invade here, knowing that the Karthus will, you know, try and get as close under, well, as much under 3 minutes for a full clear as possible. With a little bit of a jerky back movement here to avoid the pushed waves vision. Obviously, we don't want to be seen as a Kindred looking to go for the 4 camp. And of course, with the 4 camp Kindred pressure, you know, Karthus does have a bit of time after he finishes Krugs, if he's efficient, between sort of doing that and doing the crab. So you could look for a bit of double scuttle, but usually if you're pathing opposite to a Karthus, you're not seeing the top scuttle. Like, that thing's gone as it spawns, you know, so you can look to contest his tier 2 Grump, those kind of things. You don't always have to invade a Karthus on first rotation invades. You can always invade on second rotation invades. However, Set is pushing forward against Talon, and of course the Set kites up, which would suggest potentially some vision, but then he goes back in here and again moves up. He knows he has a Karthus support. So basically, I'll swap the vision in a second here, right? No, he's just kind of suspicious that he knows Kindred was up there and he's kind of just kiting the top side of the lane. And as a laner, that's so big, isn't it? You know, positioning yourself accordingly just to allow, you know, the enemy jungler to say, listen, I know you're there. Even if it's not warded, you have those suspicions. You're tracking the jungle timer, and Karthus here definitely late on everything, but I think we know that this is the case. Now, Kindreds typically struggle in these kinds of games, which is why I like this, you know, despite it being a bit of a longer game, and defeating a Yuumi is always very, very good. You know, I mean, you can tell a top laner that a gank's coming, but a top laner doesn't hear you. And the top laner dies is what happens. And so with Kindreds, when you have the 4 camp into action, you look for the gank, nothing. You look for the gank, nothing. You look for the invade, nothing. You get the crab, yes, you have to fall back to Raptors and Krugs. Is this the end of the world? No. I mean, we can do it. You can see, look, it's fine. You know, it's not like you're completely stuck at clearing these camps and you're a warrior and it's taking you 25 days or 28 days, because afterwards you definitely are a zombie. You know, you can still fall back to this, and I think that's the most important thing. Now, should you have GIGA Prio here, and maybe a mark or 2, and you're ready to go, you could go and contest and steal this mark. Obviously, remember, every 45 seconds that will show up, but you kind of, we're lucky we got the mark on the bottom side. This would be something great to go for should our bot lane really be ahead. They just killed the enemy bot lane, and they have such presence that you could kind of extend your early sequence, but you don't really necessarily want to do that against a Karthus. He's going to have double Amtome. He's going to have that Dark Seal. He will be already getting level 5 going up because he got the gank on the top side. You know, his sequence is continuing. You're going to not want to be in that situation, okay? So we go back to base. We'll get a pickaxe. Not quite the noon quiver dream that we all wish, but this is absolutely fine. We see the Set move up and ward here. So we go from tier 2 Grump to tier 2 Wolves. This is fine, okay? So Kindreds, when I talk about, you know, you need to be highly active, snowballing, when these things happen, it's not the end of the world. It's about what you do next and how you play the rest of the game, because while we are snowballing junglers, we do scale, you know? And not that you want that to be your fallback, but, you know, here, this is great. This is a great concept of let me loop this back here because I know the Karthus is going to be sequencing bottom to top. I know he's going to show here and do his Raptors into his Krugs or look to cut and gank the AA Trox. And we are spotted. But if we go here, we'll see that the Z is now marked. He is level 4. The Aatrox has cut the wave off. That W, ooh! The Z just able to escape, but now he doesn't have it. The Karthus is manaless, maidenless, and hopefully soon lifeless. We proc the bone plating from the Z, and that'll be a dead Z, I think. The disrespect, and this happens so much. Smite to survive. Smite to survive. Very nicely done. So your opportunities might be... here comes Saturn. Your opportunities might be a little bit... Ooh. Ooh, okay, Pioshik making things happen. Your opportunities might be a little bit extreme in the high elo spectrum, but trust me, if you're missing, you know, let's say by 6 minutes, if you're missing even 1 assist and you're not, say, Master Plus, then you're missing something. 100% you are missing something on the map. Excuse me, I hit the mic again. Now, we do have the blessed RNG crab on the bottom side. The sacrifice of Karthus gives us this. The Karthus now, obviously, with no flash, does have exhaust. Talon uses this prior to roam and kill and thrive and suck and destroy the soulless beast that is Karthus. Remember, this pressure from mid lane was directly caused by Kindred's gank on the top side. The set felt the need to rotate up to this to do something, to collapse. That gave Talon the prior necessary to say, the Karthus is going to be coming down to the grump again. Let me just go snipe him, give my jungler more time to get another mark. We're at 3 now, 1 more for a range increase. And you see how jungler's pressure can collapse and also open up the map, depending on what point of view you have. Now, Karthus decides to go the long way, a little bit of super umbrella jungling, but sadly, Pioshik understands the game very, very well. So I'm going to try and get that E-proc there. Snacky, snacky, snacky. That is level 6 force. Set is rotating. The Zeri Yuumi is rotating. So the downside to this particular invade might be death. Is death for sure. Do we like these plays? Yes. Do we want to necessarily always die in these plays? No. But it's not the end of the world if you're stopping a hyperscaling jungler. That's sad. Hyperscaling jungler get ahead. But you are feeding now the Zeri Yuumi, which I think is a cardinal sin. We can all agree. Yes, yes, okay. As long as we do something about that, we're good. So, Zerka's Greaves rush with the pickaxe and a longsword, so now we're really going to start smacking stuff. Remember, lethal tempo gives you that attack speed boost, really, really huge, and every single time you attack something, right? Every single time you hit something with an auto attack, that's your AD, so we're 116, and then that AD comes from the 25 AD we get on the pickaxe, right? So every time you build anything AD ratios, AD percentages, anytime right buffs and nerfs, that kind of stuff, it affects every single auto attack. So with lethal tempo, think about it, right? Think about it. Now, again, into the wolves here, the blue buff, and we see this is Sport. Karthus is now significantly behind clearing tempo. He's going to be struggling to get something going, and now the Kindred machine begins to churn. Get into the jungle. We're pinging this because obviously the high elo laners recognize that this is what the Kindred wants to do, but we have good vision protection. Karthus shows mid lane here. He is 6-0-3-2 now. Kindred hippity hoppities over the wall. We did have a ward there placed by the Zed just to say, yeah, you know what, maybe you're sneaking. Why would you walk in the river here? Ooh, here comes the Zed though. Be careful. There you go. See, that restraint is a big difference between great Kindreds and not so great Kindreds, because they'll take the fight, chase into the Raptors, and then die. Complain about Prio, and then complain they're not able to snowball, you know. Yes, Pioshik will die a few times, but within the course of the game. And sometimes, not every death is the same. Here we go. Karthus is ulting. Boom! We get some Dark Harvest stacks, but we chug our pots. Remember that. You see? If you have HP pots or refillables, and you're fighting, activate them immediately, because that heals over the course of the duration of the fight. Karthus not ult now, but he will have Smite plus Exhaust up. Kindred uses a Q for gap close, activates W for another possible Q. However, we don't want to go blindly into the river again. Where's Karthus? Does he know I took his red? Did he look back around here? Is he kind of jungling me here? Obviously, Yuumi is dead at the moment. There he is, see? No red though, so we know that should be available. Out of position though, he's going to be tanking all of these casters if he goes too deep. Zeri as well, the minions kind of got involved a little bit less. Ooh, Seraphine activates ultimate. We're getting contested on the Raptors here. Karthus dies again, but he's able to snack one back, which, Karthus mains, they're a bit psychopathic when it comes to that concept, they love dying just to kill you with their death, as it were. Revive. Anyone remember Revive? Some of you newer players won't remember that, but Revive. That's all I'm gonna say. Come back to life. Revive Karthus. So we're gonna go ahead and use this pressure to do the dragon. Huge, proponent of meta junglers is that we can actually solo the dragons. Wouldn't know what that's like in my perspective. Watching an Ornn jungle try and solo dragons after the durability patch and the dragon buff was, the dragon changes. That was, it's interesting. I wouldn't say it's fun, but it's interesting. From this, great, excellent start. 2-1-1, 72 CS, 11 ahead of the Karthus. Now, is he going to Krugs and down? Is he going to Grump and up? Is he going to, who knows where he's going? You can kind of anticipate here, right? This is probably all gone, so let me go down here, take whatever camps are up, try and get bottom lane snowballing the Zeri Yuumi. So investing into this win con as Karthus makes a lot of sense. Now, if your Aatrox takes this and you're in silver, and now you're complaining about the Aatrox taking the Grump, why? We're shadowing bot lane here, we're really, really far ahead. The Aatrox has got a decent lead, and we're gonna be spending some time down here now. So by the time we get up there, it should have respawned. I'm more concerned about the loss of the Raptors from the Talon. Yo, look, hello, sir. As I start talking about Talon stealing a Raptors, you see? But we have Nuke over now. Do we want to go for this? With a Yuumi, Zeri, and Karthus full HP, I think not. So instead of worrying about the affiliates, just say, good luck, Moon Guy. Talk to your ghost. And then we're going to go straight to the mid lane here. Flash is burned from the set. Want to be cautious here. The mark on the Krugs then is available. So you can kind of transition this advantage here into the top side. Obviously, we also have the Herald, right? And we have 2 to 3 plates to use. Q to avoid the E. That's the biggest thing, right, about Kindreds, is that they don't use their Q to dodge skill shots. And remember, dodging skill shots is just as much anticipation as it is reaction, because you're not really reacting if you know it's coming, you know what I mean? You know it's coming, so you're just timing it accordingly. We get spiked under the tower there by Set, and okay, well, Iron Spike Whip does nothing, so not so good. But again, the Zeri Yuumi, man, honestly, we had a time where Zoe was the most disgusting champion. Zoe was, and she's been nerfed and changed, but she still is kind of disgusting. But nothing really makes me angry. And not like literally angry in life, just angrier than the context of the game, right? I mean, good grief. But just, Zeri, how can you release this and think, this is okay. This is good design for the ADC. This is totally not overloaded. It escapes me how no one brought this up, to be honest with you. Yuumi too, And then they talk about the frustration of playing against them. Yeah, we could have told you that after like 1 game of PB. I played 1 game on live versus either of them. I was like, nope. Don't have anything to do with it. But hopefully they can keep gutting them until they figure something out. Anyway, so 5-0-1, we're gonna have to try and defeat this somehow. That's actually more impressive than anything else. We repeat gank here, a little bit of a loop, fall back to your blue side and back to the mid lane. Set shows up, here we go. Attack, 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 use that W, poof, 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 poof. Beautifully done. We do have the Kraken and the Berserk is complete now, so this is normal for us, right? Obviously we didn't go up here and compromise our jungling. Ooh, nice route. Remember, not a remembering this game. Don't compromise your jungling for that Krug. I know most of you, and don't lie to me, now most of you would have gone up to that Krug camp and potentially gotten it, but also died for it. Pioshik says, nah, this is way too geographically undesirable. Let me just loop back here, nice little loop path, and kill Set again. Try and get the tower play before 14 and kill that tower, but unable to do so. And in our bottom lane's defense here, Felix is able to actually kill that tower, which is really good, Talon doing Talon things, setting traps. Why is this Karthus so GIGA out of mana the whole time? Zeri and Yuumi are now mid lane. Plates are dead. RNG Scuttle in the bottom lane. We have Seraphine following us around just a little bit. Mark is spawned on the red buff. We're getting chunked a huge amount by Zeri. Very skilled champion, that W. Super nice and enjoyable. Ward here, so we were seen. We have Aatrox fisting the... Ooh, look at this. He's so talented. Everything's so talented. Again, what's the big lesson? Can I fight them bottom lane 3v1? No. So I'm going to leave and use the Herald, get some plates, and then translate that to chems. Uh-oh. Can I follow them top lane and try and do something? No. Right. So what can I do in the meantime? It's the biggest thing you can learn about jungling. Give and take all the time. Laners too, understanding when to actually go for trades and not go for trades. You're not trying to coin flip everything like Dravens do. You're looking to play around jungle tracking, timers, cooldowns, ultimate spikes, minion wave management. There's a lot of things to think about in the league. If you play all-out aggression for no reason, you're going to find yourself in rough positions. This is beautifully done, by the way, that extended attack range. Really, really huge, fully stacked lethal tempo over there. And they didn't rotate fast enough whatsoever. So we just take the ISO pick here, solo kill, take the crab. Now we're going to trap here, but of course, this is maybe not the best position, all right? But maybe it is the best position because Seraphine is still a champion. Ah, good night. We were outplayed by the outplayed button. But hey, Enchanter meta. Not for me. I play Zyra. I kill the enchanters because let's not pretend that it takes as much skill as certain other class types. That's all I'll say. And of course, we lose that mark, and there is a Hextech Dragon available. Aatrox is splitting on the top side, so this is going to be a tough one. Yes, a lot of the gold is very much inherently in the Zeri 7.6, but we are doing pretty well ourselves at 7.3k. And of course, you know, like the Karthus, despite the rough beginning, he's still not that far behind, right? 7.1 to 7.3. You know, he's caught up a little bit in the CS department. He still uses ult to go 4 and 5, minus a death there, 4 kills, 5 assists. So he's done his best. Now you're noticing the Hearthburn Axe, and you're noticing the pickaxe. That's because in a more snowbally attack speed splash kind of snowball game, I said snowball twice, you're gonna go into the Wit's End, into the Hurricane. However, against a team comp where you might want a bit more HP, a bit more survivability, and a bit more splash damage, then the Titanic Hydra is what he goes. We go Kraken, Wit's End, Titanic Hydra into the Hurricane. And this 4-item spike makes you quite lethal in terms of your actual damage, but at the same time, not as lethal as your pure crit assassination build, but it gives you so much survivability as well. And that's not to be underrated, because when you're ahead and you're building more resistance-based, HP-based things, and you already overkill the enemy, then if they can't kill you, then there's nothing to worry about, right? And that's the thing, that's the reverse logic a little bit. It's not the same for every champion, obviously, and you can keep building damage when you're ahead, absolutely fine. So like, always build resistances when you're ahead. I mean, that's such a blanket statement, I don't think you can say that. But there's definitely nuance with the champion types, the class types. But in this situation, he just prefers the resistances, the splash damage, the HP. But this concept of Titanic Hydra on range, that was new for us. Warwick and Volodymyr, anyone who built this Trundle, when they did the rework, oh look, you can build that on range now. And you've got that on-hit synergy, right? You've got the Lethal Temper, you've got the Kraken Slayer, you've got the Wit's End, you've got the Runan's Hurricane, you've got the Titanic Hydra, all with these on-hit procs, okay? And the Cleave passive is just absolutely juiced for team fighting. And back in the day with Kindred as well, we had this build where we would very frequently, actually always went Hurricane, because it was just an odd wave clearing splash damage in fights, and it was absolutely the way to play the champion. You know what I mean? And of course, we had Devourer and Steric's Gauge that could be built on range. That was not healthy. So there's been a lot of iterations of a bit more of an HP on-hit Kindred build. And this really reminds me of those Season 6 kind of builds. So if you prefer that on-hit vibe with a bit of survivability, this can be great for you. But remember, you're not really making the most of the Titanic passive, where you get your HP converted into AD, right? You're not really making the most of that because we're not building any other HP itemization. So it's really just for the on-hit component and the base level of cleave. But we are going Wit's End first. Obviously, secondary, they did nerf that item a while back, but it's still very, very good. So what you're noticing in this game at the moment is very standard stuff, nothing too overtly fancy. We're just kind of moving around now, 19 minutes in. We want to look to see if we can get some assassination on the Zeri. 2 levels up, but we get slowed. And then Yuumi does Yuumi things. So we're going to keep focusing on the Zeri there. A lot of damage, you see that? That magic resist will come in handy even against Zeri. Obviously, they've nerfed and gutted that. It's a lot of damage, but against the Karthus and the Yuumi, we're going to get a lot of value. And of course, that's my bad. Yeah, the pickaxe was for Wit's End. For some reason, my brain fog just made me forget that Wit's End had pickaxes in it, and I was thinking about the Tiamat already. See, I just, you know, that's more my thing, you know, pickaxe into Tiamat early on. So we're moving into the jungle now, pushing the map a little bit. We're going to get the stun there. We do get the W from the set to absorb some damage. The Zed has moved over from the bottom lane. Aatrox is pushing up the top side. Talon is pushing up the bottom side. That means we got a little bit of a 1-3-1 activation. We have to be cautious here though, because the counter to that is them engaging us, killing us, and shoving it down our throats. So you don't really want to, you know, get caught out in that scenario. If that does happen, of course, you can fall back to your camps, which is what we do here. A little bit of siege. We see here the Karthus go top side. He's on level 12 as well. Kindred's going to loop back again, fall back to the blue side, then go for a loop. You know, if there's really nothing else we can do in this back timers, let's bait a Baron. I think that's absolutely fine. Don't coin flip it though if you're not comfortable with the smite. Do not coin flip it if you're not comfortable seeing this through to the end. Rather turn together. See, turn, focus the set, kill the set. Karthus comes around the wall now, that's good. Here everyone else comes, recognize this, and that you're kind of low and chunked. We want to be cautious because of Karthus are. Talon is now running away from the Zeri. Aatrox is running away from the Zeri. We walk into the Zeri because apparently we don't want to win. Karthus saves his ult for after the Kindred ult, which is, of course, a very wise decision. And so this was not good. This was not so good. Their patience was really good. I think, you know, if you look at a game like this, most importantly, you want to be patient. As long as possible, you want to be patient. And they were doing that, pushing up, just kind of farming in the meantime, keeping things chill. Set shows up, they fight him. That's great. But, well then. You know, don't keep going. Once you recognize the bait worked, you got numbers advantage, leave. Because now you do have numbers advantage. And of course, the threat is that they could do this afterwards, but typically they won't if they're lower or chunked as well. And you can always go back out, bide your time. You've got Seraphine as well. So a bit of an unfortunate sneaky wall up. Bit of an unfortunate fight there to go see that through to the end. We'll take red for ourselves. I think don't give that away. I know Philos means will complain, but you got to look after Kindred. Number one. Here comes Karthus. Set again. Split pushing. We're going to walk into this blindly face checking. Aatrox was just going bottom lane here. We flash to reposition. And remember, we don't have ult for this fight. It is a long cooldown, but he is way too deep. Our team collapses. We're able to kill him now nicely. This numbers advantage, see, this is what they should have done in the Baron. Use a numbers advantage now. Back out. Don't chase. It's Zeri and Yuumi. Don't chase. Sneak in. Let's take this very, very quickly. Karthus ult is also not up. For cooldown references, we have 22 seconds on that. For Karthus, we have 30 seconds, so we do have that advantage over him. But of course, that's not really how it works, because you want the Karthus to ult first. And again, now we go back in against this team comp, and Zeri is just so disgusting. Can we do something over the wall here for Phyllis? Please! Please! No, we cannot. Kindred's running away. We have the talent being chased, but he also yeets off the wall. Everyone's yeeting. Kindred says, you know what? I'm a dip. And they go ahead and take the wolves in the muck. So we're at 9 now. Now Zed's got the Yuumi chasing. Auto attack, auto attack. Okay, waiting for W. Waiting for W. Reposition. Shadow used. Talon combing with his rake to try and get some slow and some bleed. Okay, we turn onto the set there with misdirected intent, but not the best example of misdirected intent. Like, haha, I'm not gonna fight you, and then you do. But with Zeri and Yuumi available as well, I don't think it's a fight you want. Really, really tough. And now because of this overstay, you could look for a reverse Baron if you're the red team. There's going to be lazy backs. Karthus ults are going to do absolutely nothing because we have Wits and plus a Giant's Belt. Kill that, you son of a bitch. And now they can just turn it to the Baron, I think. In theory, they could just do that because Aatrox is bottom lane here. He does have Unleashed Teleport, but there's really nothing you can do. Ah, Yuumi. You know, if someone walks at me out of position like that, 9 times out of 10 they die when you're Kindred. But because it's a Yuumi, you know, he gets away with it. Magic Shred from the W is used here. All right, we have the TB coming through. We're going to try and contest this. It might be a little late. Good smite. How many people can we kill now and force him to base? That'll be 1. All right, Karthus should be 2. Can Zed be a 3? Almost choked there. No, not quite. And Zeri shows up. Huh? Gaming moments. Gaming moments. Okay. Well. Kindred. With Kraken, Wits End, and the Giant's Belt. It's what you need against this meta, apparently, when you're a challenger. It's very interesting to watch, though, because obviously, you know, you could overkill people a lot, but in these games when they're fed, like, you would die, you know? You're squishy without your ult. You can die in those situations when you get caught out. So the little sneak in there is nice, is nice as well. Could look to go push top lane a little bit. Let's see if we do that. Talon's pushing the bottom lane. Yuumi's on Zed in the mid lane. Zeri is not in the picture just yet, so we'll push that out and back to base. We'll get our Tiamat plus a Ruby Crystal, so we're very, very close to Titanic now. All right. Just going to speed it up a little bit because it is one of those games. RNG Scuttle topside. Remember, RNG Scuttle is huge, guys. Please snack these RNG Scuttles. These are as valuable as Krugs at this point in the game. It takes you 2 seconds to take it, right? You can just smite it and snack it, especially if you've got 2 smites, right? But even if you don't have smite, apparently it just dies. So, there you go. They're going to be pushing down mid lane with the Baron here. We have to withstand this. Titanic complete. And now we can go into the Rune Ants for that on-hit AoE splash. A little bit of wave clear as well, because while we're not too bad on that front, I think having added wave clear is such an important tool in solo queue. If you don't want to trust someone else to do it, but also you want to make sure that your team is in a position to handle themselves in bad game states. Chase, get the Zed. Watch out for the Karthus. Watch out for the Karthus. He's low on mana though. He's only 14. Boom. 2 autos will kill him. And then we have the deep dive by the Talon, who's not going to get Karthus ulted and probably killed with a set. There we go. Now, instead of chasing, you see this? Instead of chasing, we just push up mid. We have map pressure. Map pressure, excuse me. Well, we had map pressure, but we're going to go for the all-in here. This is a bit sussy behavior, I think. Alright then, so we did have map pressure. I mean, I would not have minded a little bit of pressure and then cut and then kind of collapse and push. At least it kind of gives you the map presence to fall back for the dragon, you know what I mean? But by running into a Yuumi Zeri with a set peel, not good things will happen, alright? So discipline. That'll give him the dragon though. Now we lose a mark and I'm upset, you're upset, Pioshik's upset, someone on your team is upset. We're still at 10 marks though, which is pretty good. Not getting the crit amp, but with this build it's more about survivability because the on-hit is absolutely crazy. Do you have a zeal? Okay, well, now we have a bit of crit amp from the zeal. Not that we're getting like full-on crit here. We have Kraken. I always forget this. And you know, I live in this world where Kraken just doesn't do crit to me because when I'm playing Warwick and I go the Kraken build, I don't build it for the crit, you know what I mean? Like, I'm building it for everything else. The full fighter lifestyle. Ignore me. It's just baby dad brain. Those things when I misspeak, you know what I mean. We're on the same page. We've been doing this a while now. Alright, a little bit of kiting into the Seraphine there, nicely done. Alright, Aatrox is now moving up here again. Talon tries to go deep and finally kills the Zeri. Huge assassin, no play. It's exactly what you want to do as an assassin. Wait for cooldowns to be wasted and burned on someone else. Go in for your window and kill the target that you are meant to kill. That's your job. Set then goes woo with the Aatrox and we had deep wings in the air there. Nice, way too deep again. Gap closing by making himself the projectile. And it doesn't really work, does it? So, excellent job by Talon there. Good job by Kindred to survive and bait. Good job by Seraphine to peel. And nice Q knock up there. Karthus should die again. This guy's not having a good game, is he? But again, it's Pioshik, so... Alright. Karthus. I mean, if he couldn't hold the ult... If he couldn't hold the ult just a little bit longer, that's tragic. If he could have, then that's a misplay. So you do have to factor in those things. I do like Kindred versus Karthus. Even in 2018, when I started doing these gameplay breakdowns on my main channel with, you know, like the split screens and so on. And one of the first ones was Battle of the Ultimates. Kindred versus Karthus. Karthus was just becoming quite strong in the meta. Season 9 then. And we had to make sure we were getting in early, invading and snowballing, and kind of reacting to his ult with our ult. You know, it's Battle of the Ultimates, very much so. Didn't do very well because, well, see, happens to the best. Educational content and whatnot. But yeah, all right. A little bit of a quiet time, I think. We have pressure here. We have some pressure here. Baron is available, and so begins the mating ritual for Lord Baron's. I'm going to stop right there before my brain goes to weird places, even weirder than usual. But again, we're just kind of biding our time here. The posturing, the Zeri poke, disgusting, unnatural. She's still not that great in solo queue, let's be honest with you. Like, the champion's design is irritating, but it's not that strong in solo queue. But when you combine it with Yuumi, it can still be quite obnoxious. But it is beatable in solo queue, don't get me wrong. But of course, in Challenger Pro Play, it's a different beast altogether. Do bear that in mind, okay? We're just looking for the showdown here at this point. We have the Rune Ants as well. Okay, here we go. That's 115 damage extra, by the way. Just wanted to check for myself because it's been so long since I've seen Kindred go that. See, on the backside here, this is crucial. We're gonna look at it in a second here. I'll reverse this one very briefly. Yeah, quite tight on the ultimate there, but that's fine. Kind of playing it equal. As I'm saying, yeah, it's really weak and bad and terrible. Yeah, so bad in solo queue, man. Never seen anyone use it. Never seen anyone use it. Okay, so I won't go back because we ended up losing the fight. Didn't know that. We have here the deep dive by the set going deep in the backline. Kindred focuses first on the Karthus closest target and then swaps back to the set. And you kind of just trying to make sure you target swap as quickly as you can as an ADC. Don't focus, you know, someone in the true backline. Focus what's in front of you. So they're going to take the dragon there, and then we're going to reconvene, I think, for another one. So, all right, here we go. Nice. Let's redo that fight, okay? Ults are up, I think. Yes. Karthus, not so much. Kindred is up there. All right, here we go. So, Zed goes in way too deep for the assassin move. Zeri now goes in too deep as well. Our whole team is kiting back here. Talon goes into the back line minus PO. Karthus is standing too far up front. So Aatrox goes in for the Q knockup on the Zeri, so Set ults him out. The rest of the team's cutting back here into the AoE splash damage from the Aphelios plus Kindred with Titanic and Runehands, and you go into that AoE zone. That's it, that's game, no? Look at this. In case you're tracking, Kindred's in the backline here, right? We'll put it at 0.5 speed. Look at this. We're going to focus this one, killing the Set first. Aphelios is doing the rest of the damage here on the side. If you see, we target so first the first one, then the next one, then the next one. Kill the Zeri, the Kindred, the Karthus, and the Set, all by just by having great teamfight positioning and by baiting them into this. And when I talk about this, kiting backwards, as a range comp like this, you're kiting backwards. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to separate them somehow, and then you want to let your assassin do the assassin things he's meant to do. Let your enchanter heal you up and sustain you as they're meant to do. Don't keep trying to engage when you're not an engaged comp. And that should do it. 33 minutes in. Can end the game very, very easily here. Extra damage, 1404, not exemplary, but not that bad. Damage to champions on hit from Wit's End, 4,313. The match history to all of these are in the description. We don't have a stat for Runehands, and then of course Kraken Slay is 3573. So decent damage all around from the build. Let me know what you think. I think the survivability and the unhit splash damage was pretty useful, especially in team fights like this where you're grouping up AoE. The survivability, no question, super good. Don't think it's going to supplant sort of your typical builds, your collectors, your RFCs, or your PDs and IEs, but it definitely is a build that you can run against these sorts of comps with extended team fights where survivability is key and you're just looking to do as much wave clear and splash damage and AoE damage as possible, but also giving yourself added resistances as well, and of course amplifying lethal tempers on hit. So that's about it. Long video, but hope you enjoyed and learned something. I know it was a bit everywhere. Thank you very much for your likes, comments, subscribes. See you on the main channel, see you on this channel, and as always, I will see you all in the next video.